What's up, Hootie here with Level Up Gaming, and today we're going to check out my favorite and most effective Cypher one-ways. The timestamps will be in the description down below if you need them. And don't forget to hit that like button. I really appreciate it. I stream every Thursday right here on the YouTube channel and have the occasional late night stream over at twitch.tv/BrianHootie. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. First up, we have Ascent Bombsite A, and there's actually two one-ways you can use here on the archway. I'm not going to talk about the actual lineups themselves too much through the video because I think I do a pretty good job of showing you exactly how to use them, but I'm going to talk a little bit about how I use these one-ways and how effective they are instead. These two one-ways that you'll see here on the archway are incredibly powerful, one more so than the other even. So the top one is really good if you're trying to play from heaven, and so is the bottom one actually, but it's a little less effective if they're playing up against that back wall. Whereas with the top one, it leaves everything exposed. That being said, if you're on the ground down here though, you're super exposed as well because they can see you. But with the bottom one, they can't see you at all. It is crazy effective and super easy to throw, so make sure you check it out. And if you go on their side, you can actually see that with the top one, they can see the whole bomb site essentially, but not heaven. And with the bottom one, they can't actually see pretty much anything. So just be wary if you're using the top one not to play on the bomb site itself. Next up, we've got a couple different one-ways you can use in middle on Ascent. Both of these can be pretty strong if you're playing deep back in the middle area, but as soon as you start pushing up and getting a little too close to that archway, you need to be careful because anybody playing deep in mid on the enemy side of these will be able to see your feet. So like I said, make sure you're playing way back here and you'll be able to see everybody's feet as they try to walk in the archway or cross in middle. This other smoke that you see in middle is actually the exact same one as the first one, but the opposite side of middle. So you throw it from here and it just does the exact same thing on the archway, but on the other side. The reason I don't put one up on top of the middle of the archway is because the smoke's not tall enough for it to be effective. Everybody can just see you then. Then we have Bombsite B. These are some of my favorite ones on this map. You go ahead and line up your crosshair with this line you see and then move over to the gutter just a little bit. It's a little hard to see on the video, but if you go in game, you'll see it. And this one way is great because you can stand all the way back here by the stairs or in CT and see their feet and they can't see you at all. So they'll have no idea where you're shooting them from. You can even line this one up and go all the way down the short catwalk area here on the bomb site and watch as they push onto the bomb site or into the area where the boat is itself and kill them as they cross. Next we have Split Bombsite A. This is a decent one. It's not the greatest, but it gets the job done sometimes if you know the enemy's going to be pushing down the ramp onto the bomb site directly. It allows you to see them and their feet, and they could see you potentially depending on how they come down, but as long as they come down close to the wall or even in the middle of the ramp, they won't be able to see you at all. But if they come into this cubby first and play on the back wall, they might be able to see you. Then we have middle. This one is really great if you're trying to push up in middle on the left side without being seen, but also still being able to see somebody pushing out of middle on the left side from wood. It's pretty easy to throw. It's super easy to use. It's not always the most effective, but you could get a cheeky kill with it once or twice in a game. Bombsite B has got a couple really strong ones. There's one that's super easy and one that's not as easy. This one's not as easy. It's hard to tell, but I line my crosshair up with a shadow on the top there. And this one is great because there's no way the enemy can see you with that one. Whereas with the easy one, which is the second one, it's the one that you see most ciphers using pretty much every day, but it's super easy to counter if you've seen it a million times. The back one is great because you can just barely see their feet and there's no way they can see you at all. Cage triggered. Cage triggered. Cage triggered. Next we have Bombsite A on bind, and make sure you're paying attention. You need to line up with that third stair up here before you go up against the wall. And this one's pretty easy to throw. It's a little hard to find it the first time. You might want to go practice it. But once you master it, this one way is super effective. It's way better than Vipers or Omens or Brimstones on this map because it really just leaves the smallest sliver of their feet exposed. And since you're lower than they are, you can actually see perfectly underneath that one way from pretty much across the bomb site. Whereas if they're up here, they can't see anything underneath that one way because it's so low. Then we have the one for showers, and this one's my favorite. Make sure you aim at the bottom part of that red square you see on the screen there, that red rectangle actually, but this will be just high enough again to see their feet, and they won't be able to see anything. You can see their feet almost all the way up against the back wall there as they cross or they're walking around, but they cannot see you at all. Then we have Bombsite B. We have one here for hookah that can be quite effective and tricky, but I wouldn't use it too often because once you've used it once, it's kind of a dead giveaway. You can throw it right up here on this little arch and you can see straight into hookah if you stand on the box. Make sure you have someone watching long for you. You don't want to get walked up on there, but you can see straight in and they can hardly, if at all, see out if you throw it correctly. It's just low enough that you're at the right head height to see out and they're a little too high to see out clearly. So they might be able to see you, but there's a good chance that you're going to see them way before they see you. This one is probably the trickiest one here. Make sure you're paying attention to the lineup for this one. It's in the corner next to the long doorway. I'll slow it down and show you a little bit more in depth here, but it's just kind of difficult. So you're going to want to go practice it a little bit, but it's super strong for watching long and it's super hard to counter on their part. As you can see, if you pop this one-way smoke, you can see clearly into long as they might cross to the teleporter or push up to the doorway, but it's very, very difficult for them to see you at all. The best part about this one is if you stand up on the crate and stand on the little box behind the crate, they literally cannot see you at all. There's no way they can see you. They might be able to see your feet here on the bomb site in the cubby or something if they're just crouching underneath it, but you'll still see them first. Then we have Haven Bombsite A. This one, where you stand is important, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Just make sure you line up with that middle brick way and stand on the dirt part just a little bit. It's super effective because as you'll see when I do pop this smoke, you can see down into long, but they cannot see you at all. So it's very strong. It's a great way to spot a push and get a couple kills without taking too much damage or dying. And then for short, this one's super easy. You don't even really need a lineup. Just bounce it off that top shelf to land on either the left or right hand side lower shelf. And then you can go up top and pop that one. And it's super easy to see down and super effective. People like to push this area. So if you get down there and you throw it first before they come down, it's really easy to just run down there and throw it up. You can pop it and then watch the push as they're coming and get a couple free kills super easily. Next, we have garage. Take a note, make sure you're lining up with this flower on the wood here before you walk in, and you crouch for this one. You have to crouch, otherwise it won't work. It's a double lineup here. You got to line up the left-hand side with the line on the box, and then the right-hand side, you want that line to be just off the wood door frame, and you just throw it there, and it'll land up above the door, and it's a pretty strong one, but you need to be careful. It's great if you're up in window. It's less strong if you're down on the ground because they have about an equal advantage as you to see into garage. And there's actually a way to throw pretty much the exact same smoke from mid, obviously, because it lands on that door frame. So if you line up with this box here and then, do the correct lineup, you can throw the exact same smoke and use it against someone that might be playing on the ground in garage. But again, be careful because if they're up in window, they can use it against you. Then we have the C bombsite. There's a couple really strong ones here on the C bombsite, especially if you're playing up on this platform for the first one that you'll see right here. Pay attention to the lineup. It's not super difficult. It's actually really easy to figure out if you just go into a practice mode and try it real quick, but it's less strong if you're down on the ground. Make sure you're up on this platform. Once you pop this smoke, you can watch for a push from up on the platform almost all the way down long. You'd be surprised how far back you can see their feet. So this one's really strong. Just again, be careful because if you drop off the platform, they can pretty much see straight down onto the bomb site underneath it. It just blocks off the platform. The next one is another one where you can just see their feet and they can't see you at all. It's pretty easy to throw, but you got to be careful if you're throwing it at the beginning of the round because they do peek out of long a lot and they can get there pretty quickly. So you need to line this up before the barrier goes down and then throw it and run away so they don't see you. But as you can see, you can hide behind these bricks by the logs and you can see straight underneath this thing and see their feet as they push in. or you can go over behind the big box here in the middle and watch straight down, and they can't see you at all, but you can see their feet almost straight down all the way to the back wall. So this one is super strong, especially if you're opping. I hope you guys find these incredibly helpful like I do. I love setting up Cypher one-way cages, but you need to be careful not to be too predictable and not to use the same one too often, because if you're hiding in the same spot, using the same one-way, eventually you're going to get pre-fired even if the one-way's up. So be careful, but have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
You copies are nothing.